Hi, I'm Ben, an animator.
Hi, I'm David. I'm also an animator and writer.
And welcome to the Up and Coming Artist Podcast. Woo, David, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks, Ben. It's great to be here. Took you long enough.
Yeah. Dude, I've been wanting to get you on the show for a very long time, and I'm sorry that it took a virus that spread across the whole planet to make that happen.
It's fine. No, I'm excited to be on. I don't know what I'm going to say through this whole thing. I was practicing in the shower, how as one does, and I don't know. I just took 4 lines of coke just to rile me up.
I am so glad to get David on the show, and I hope that his laughing right now isn't getting cut off by this recording. David is a hilarious guy, which is why I've been wanting to get him on the show. He does animation, like you just mentioned, character design, storyboarding, writing, and directing. And we'll talk about that because that is actually kind of how David and I really got to know each other, was through a short film project that you did as an intern at Sony and Me Too, right?
Right, right. When I peaked.
Could you talk about that for a second? Because that was a pretty big project, and we've mentioned it for people who are listening to the show. We've mentioned it on episodes with Joel Zamudio and Cassidy Blake Christo, but you are the director of that film.
Right, yeah, I'm the main one. Those other guys, trash. They meant nothing. I'm kidding. I should be careful with what I say. Anyways, yeah. So that whole experience was really cool. That is where I met you. I had the chance to create something that I wrote, and got some friends to help me along the way. And the reason I chose you, Ben, I don't know if I've told you.
I don't know if we talked about this before.
I've known of you at the film festival, the PMC Film Festival, where you did that one animation with the texture cashier guy.
Yeah, yeah. Minimum wage. Yeah. So what David's talking about for people listening is a film festival at our school.
Yeah. And so you did really good. You won an award at the that PMC festival. And I'm like, who is this guy?
And you guys won an award too for your guys' film. I remember that.
Oh yeah, we did, but that was for pity.
No, you guys made a great film. You and Cassidy Blake Christo. So not to plug my podcast again, but go back and listen to that episode.
And then I overheard you saying, "Yeah, it only took me a week to do that." Or like,
Yeah.
how
It
long
was
did
a week.
it was a
Yeah.
week? Was it a week? And I was like, "Wow, this smug hole."
I know. I probably shouldn't have been telling people that.
No, so I was like, okay, this guy gets things done. Who is he? But I'm like, I want him on my team. When I found out I was gonna do that Sony thing, you're someone that creates things on his own.
Well, and I mean, same for you. You're a guy who, just from the get go of knowing you, you are always working on your own projects and getting things done. Actually, we did work together slightly before the Sony project, and that was for a music video that was fan made that you were directing, and you asked me to come on that, and then that's how we worked together the first time.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. That project bummed me out.
At least I did my
You
part.
did
That's
your
all I'm gonna
part.
say.
You
I
did your
my
part. All those other snakes just ignored me.
But what I appreciated about David, not only from meeting him, was he a hilarious guy, but he, once again, like he was saying, he gets projects done. He's a creative guy, and he's good at bringing people together, which is why I think the La Piñata short came together the way it did for Sony. Could you talk about that short for a second and what it's about, and even how you came up with the idea?
Yeah, yeah. So I was being racist and stereotypical. I was like, okay, what do Mexicans do? All right, they hit piñatas with sticks. Let's make a story about that. And and I kind of just like, it's like when you're a kid, you want to be the one to break the piñata. It's always a competition with your cousins and stuff to be the one to break it. And I kind of created a story around that. So it's about a boy named Nicandro. He fails to break the piñata, and his cousin mocks him. And throughout the whole short, he's doing like some weird
It's like a Rocky montage.
yeah, Yeah, he's making his mom mad so she could chase him and beat him with the chancla. And he just ends up really buff at the end. It's pretty funny. I like it. I'm proud of it. It's on YouTube.
Yeah,
Everyone should watch it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. People can look that up. Is it on Mitu's YouTube page?
Yeah, Me Too. If you haven't heard of it, it's MITU, not the movement. Though we do
yeah.
support it. Me Too.
Yeah, so check that out. It's called La Piñata, directed by, and this is actually something I want to talk about on the podcast here, real quick. Is I think you're the first guest that I've had on the show to have an artist name because you have an artist last name that is not your real last name.
Right, Moongeeuh. Enunciated, it's my last name, but I spell it different because I think it's funny because like no one could say my last name when it's the regular real numbers letters because there's like four vowels in a row, and so people are like, what the hell does that mean? And so I spell it out phonetically.
Which is
Moongeeuh. Moongeeuh.
Yeah.
no, I appreciate that. Now, the reason why I made you do that, and I may even just cut out you spelling it out, is because for longtime listeners of the podcast heard Christian and I really screw up people's last names, and David is one I can actually get right because he spelled it out phonetically.
You're welcome. I think ahead for everyone.
Yeah.
No, all my teachers would say it wrong, so like I learned. And I can't be mad at them. Like I've seen my last name.
Well, we appreciate it, and it just goes to show even more how much you're a team player.
I like that.
For people who aren't seeing the video like we're seeing, I am checking out your amazing shirt you're wearing right now. You've got some like fantastic, I think, Cartoon Network characters up there. We got Johnny Bravo, we got Grimm, we've got Ed and Eddie over here. So this is kind of my lead into how did you get started in animation? Hint, hint.
Okay. I was actually in live action before, like cameras and all that, and then the Avengers came out, and then I'm like, wow, that sounds like a lot to do. I should switch my major to animation, and that's what I did.
That's crazy. Now, that was probably like after high school, right, for you, right?
Yeah, I was already in college. I mean, I've been drawing since forever. It, I don't know why I didn't think of animation first. I just thought like videos and editing because I love to do that.
Yeah, no, you're a bomb editor. That's another thing I should have added to your list of descriptions. Like, you got some crazy cool stuff if people go on your Instagram, like with After Effects and just editing stuff in general, which is super cool. But I think that's kind of an interesting thing that I don't have on my notes here is what drew you first to live action film before you got into animation?
I think it was the editing part, and there's a little studio out here in Fontana, and I applied to it after I graduated high school, and they let me in. So I was already recording with cameras for the KFON TV. It's called, the city's cheapo television thing that no one watches, right? And so that's just what led me into it.
But that's some pretty cool professional experience right off the bat. How'd you even find out about it? Were you just watching TV?
I think it was those bulletin boards that they have, like they send out to the city, like each resident and stuff. And I was like, oh, I should probably apply to that. Like they weren't even accepting any interns or anything. But I went over there. I gave them my name and everything. And I don't know. They saw me. Probably they saw how fragile I was. So they're like, all right, let's give this poor chump a chance.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. No, you obviously had some skills. So were you behind the camera at that time? Or like your original interest, did you get in through editing?
By that time, when I switched, I wanted to be a director. So like just planning out everything when Avengers came out. Like I say when Avengers came out because like it really did switch my mind. I'm like the director had to pretend those characters were here destroying the city, and it just sounded like a lot to me. And I'm like, I could do this with animation, but I could draw them out, and I don't have to worry about the actors and all of that. And I could do the projects on my own, and that was one of the biggest factors. Like with live action, you need a crew.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. No, that's something I hadn't thought about. Is getting into it based kind of on limitation, where you're like, hey, I don't have people, but I have myself.
I
Exactly.
can plan these things out.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm sad and alone. I could do animation.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Like I'm telling you, like animation didn't even cross my mind. Like it was just like, oh, TV, movies, live action, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create, and just that's the way I was gonna do it. I forgot all about Pixar.
Yeah. Yeah, well that's awesome, man. So now that's interesting that what got you into it is basically like, hey, I have these ideas. I want to be able to communicate them to people. So you came to animation, and what were some of your first projects? Like, what were the stories you wanted to tell?
For animation, oh my god, dude, I didn't write until I had an animation class. It was just all in my mind. I'm like, oh, I should probably write these down. Probably do something with them. And then like when I finally got an animation class, that's kind of what I did. Like the first assignment was like, okay, over the weekend you're gonna make a 5 second animation. And I'm like, yo, you didn't teach us how to do anything. How do I do this? And it's weird, like you just do it. And it's kind of like that's kind of like the rule in life too. You just kind of do it, you know?
Yeah, it's like not just the Nike slogan. It's like for real, especially with art.
Oh, right, right. This is non-sponsored.
No, but that's a. And now, was that traditional, like hand drawn animation, so like on paper, or was that digital?
Yeah, it was the hand drawing traditional with Brian Kennan. Keenan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I took him too.
Yeah. Wait, we weren't in the same class. No,
No.
I was in that class with Cassidy. Wow, 3 times we say his name, he's gonna appear.
Shout out. Yeah. So now, to kind of transition from you learning on paper, not knowing anything about animation and barely getting into it, just to be able to tell your own stories. Most of the work that I'm familiar with you is in Adobe Flash, I think.
Yeah, I just chose that program out of Photoshop because I remember Chuck. He was like, "All right, what are the programs you guys are gonna use?" And I just said, "Oh," and it was Flash at the time. And then he was like, "Okay, cool. What are the shortcuts?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know anything about this program, but I'm gonna use it." And I did my first production there, my first student film there through Flash, and I just kind of use it because I was used to it, and because I'm scared to learn new things.
Well, sort of. I mean, you jumped right in to using a program that you had no idea how to use, and yet, I think what's interesting about that is that, I mean, Flash, which is now anime, is basically like one of the industry standards for animation, and I doubt you even probably knew that at the time, but you jumped right in and learned it, and I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, thanks. I do amazing things. I I kind of switched to After Effects though. That's the better program. I recommend everyone learn that one.
Yeah, and you talked about earlier, and I know this about you too, that you're also an editor, and so definitely After Effects, I'm sure gives you, because you can edit and animate in the same program, right?
Exactly. It's like 2 in 1. It's easier. You can do everything in it.
Yeah. So is that, would you say, like the benefits of After Effects, or what else? What else of its praises would you sing?
After Effects, it's fun. I think because it's editing, you could do a lot of stuff that you can't do in anime, and you could have multiple scenes in one, like multiple compositions. And Flash, I got tired of Flash. Flash is dead to me. Flash is my stepfather.
David was raised from all the keyframes and all the in betweens up to the man.
He is
Yeah.
today.
No, that's awesome. So, thinking about your work in After Effects, your animation, the stories you want to tell, you as an editor. So how would you define the work that you like to do?
Comedy. I just like making stupid things that make people laugh. And the problem is like a lot of my comedy can be I guess it is offensive. A lot of people have said it's offensive humor. Um but it's funny, you know? I
Well,
think
and it's appealing too.
yeah, if we're offensive to everyone equally, then it should be fine.
I don't know if I'd say it's offensive. I'd say it's more just like, for example, La Piñata, the film that we both worked on together while you were an intern at Sony. I wouldn't say it's offensive. I'd say it's playing on the things of your culture in a way that everyone understands.
Right, cuz they exist and that's the basis of comedy. Like it's funny cuz it's true type thing. But then when you're doing it about another race, it's dicey.
Right, because it was about your own culture, so you felt like you had kind of an authority to say on it, right?
Right, right. So that's what I've been doing, like trashing Mexicans, but like it's getting tiring, you know?
Oh man, and you guys really should check out David's work online. I mean, I was just watching right before we started recording on your Instagram. You have one that I'll call Kevin Animation. It's so good. It's you guys just gotta check it out. It's basically David trying to get his friend Kevin's attention to the point of him having to slap him about and like shake him by the throat. And all
Oh,
that.
yes.
Yeah. That one was fun. I did that one within a day. I was animating so much.
There, see now who's talking about how fast they work.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Humble brag.
Yeah. No, I love it. And that's one thing that I kind of want to talk about too here for a second, since you talked about After Effects, is because I think sometimes when we think about animation, or at least when I do, I only think about character animation. But I think what's cool about some of the stuff that you've put online is also like motion graphics and kind of like abstract animation that you can do that you've done digitally. So how did you figure that out? Like, did you just look it up online, or how did that come about?
Yeah, man, I had to. YouTube, you know? So a lot of the jobs were saying motion graphics. So I'm like, okay, I gotta learn this thing that school didn't teach me anything about. And so I did. I just went on YouTube and was learning like that, trying to make visuals for like my favorite songs and stuff.
That's awesome. And then just looking at even your image on Instagram is like you with your fingers to your head, kind of like the bullet style, and then just kind of all these colors flowing out of your head on the other side. Where did that come from?
Drugs and alcohol. Have you heard of those things? No, it was. I think that was my last project at school. So all the stuff that's coming out it's like past projects, like little things from Easter egg type things, and I thought it would be like, oh, this will be a cool last project. This is my very last thing I'm gonna make here, and I'm gonna wrap everything that I've done in the past in it.
Yeah, and then you animated it later because it looks like it was an illustration that you originally, and then you made it into an animation, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I wanted them to move. So
The colors, right?
yeah, yeah. They're little Some of them are little characters. There's a rocket ship and things out like that. And I wanted to do a little remix type thing to that Skrillex song. Yeah, I just did it.
No, that's awesome, and I think that's what's cool about kind of like the theme of this episode is like just go out and do it, and you can make some really cool stuff just like you've done, which is great.
Thanks. Motivational speaker time. Just we need a new slogan because you're right. It's Nike. It's all Nike. Just
Yeah.
work. Just do your work, guys. That's it.
Yeah, do the work. Yeah.
Idiots. No, I mean inspirational. Inspirational. Sorry, no. You lovely angels. This is
No, it's
PG.
all good.
No, but I think that's what's cool. And so, like, we talked about you just going out there and doing it, learning a ton of different skills, like I talked about. Like, I mean, we talked about you directing your own stuff, storyboarding, animating, And then your sense of comedy, which is super apparent and not always offensive, sometimes is, which is also kind of funny. But obviously, all of those things played into some work that you've done recently that I want to talk about, which is, I believe, some insurance commercials.
Yes, yes. Get insurance today. Um, yeah. Speaking of, I just got laid off of that.
Oh no! Is
Perfect
that because of the
timing.
virus?
It is. It is because of the virus. This stinky Miss Rona got to him.
We're in a weird time right now.
It's
That's like
super
kind of
crazy.
unprecedented.
It's crazy. Like, but the silver lining is that our industry is still going. You know, like it wasn't shut down. People are just working from home. People that aren't us and are essential. You know,
Yeah.
and it's cool to see that they still have work. So it's kind of like a good thing. You know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of funny that of all the areas of life that are like still going on. Obviously, the grocery stores are still open and businesses like that. But what do people need right now when they're stuck in their homes and it's raining outside and they got nothing else to do? Watch animation,
Exactly, TV, man. That's what it is. Video game, Animal Crossing. People are going crazy for that.
right? Yeah, I know. Everyone going into video games right now because they're stuck inside. You know, like as kids playing that. I mean, just think about it. It's gonna be crazy in the next couple years.
Yeah, it's wild, and it's cool. It's cool for us. Not right now at the moment, but eventually.
Now, I got some questions for everyone listening. You just mentioned the name of that insurance company that you were working for to make those commercials. Could you say that again and where they could maybe find those commercials online? Because they're hilarious.
Thank you. Yeah, it's called Get Insurance Today. Uh, they're on YouTube. I think you just do Get Insurance Today. Also non-sponsored. They're not. Should we get them to sponsor this episode? Can we do that?
That probably would have been easier while you were still working for them.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, I was fired.
Yeah. There's no animosity here, though.
Yeah, yeah, they're all online. They're there. God, I love those commercials. It was just like it was a job where they let me do whatever, you know? And there's actually a few episodes that they never or commercials that they never uploaded because they're like, "David, it's too much. This is bad." There's it was one about it was a Father's Day post and this kid was looking for his father and then he finds the mom and is like, "Mom, where's Papa?" And she's like, "Papa left us 5 years ago." And he was like, "Oh yeah." And then the tagline was, "We'll never leave you. Get insurance today."
Just like Flash was your father. Whatever.
Exactly.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, I did kind of want to say so far, what we've looked at is as far as you getting jobs in animation, is basically you looking at a board and going, yeah, I guess I could do that. Like Fontana Newsreel, oh, I guess I could do that. Motion graphics, oh, I guess I could do that. So, how did you land this job creating commercials that have almost like 100% creative freedom?
Yeah, it was actually La Piñata that got me the job because they had the posting online to apply and I put my reel, but when I went into the interview she brought it up and she was like she showed the boss like, look, this is what he made and it's super funny. There it helped that they were also Mexican, you know.
There you go.
Yeah. So they're like, this is really funny, we just want you to do this type of stuff. And I'm like, oh, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, just we're trying to hit the millennial audience. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I'll do it. But just know, you said I could do anything. No takebacks.
That's amazing. And yeah, they are very like stylistically similar, like very funny comedy. Oftentimes like yeah, a kid coming up to their mom or something like kind of sketchy happening in the street, like someone potentially getting hit by a car or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah. There's a hobo one. I run down a hobo in the commercial, and that one in the office. It was getting a lot of heat. They're like, we can't run over homeless people, David. And I'm like, what are they gonna do? Call the police on their iPhones?
Yeah. That just, I mean, I gotta say, like, now from being an animator myself, and of course I love my job, but like getting a job where you get to basically do whatever you want as long as you kind of relate it to insurance, I think has gotta be like an artist's dream almost.
Dude, it was my favorite job in the world. Like it was like, oh my god. I've had like several jobs, like eight jobs. I've never passed 1 year at a job except this company. It's like the only one that I stayed for longer than a year because it was just so great.
Yeah, that's awesome. And now I kind of wanted to ask you about too, because it really was you making these commercials for them. So were you doing everything as far as like creating these commercials go?
There was mostly it was me, but it was like it was also a team effort. You know, there'll be weeks where we'd call it the little vibe room, where we just chill and make ideas. We'll come up with ideas for new commercials. I'll get some people like all the everyone that voice acts was a worker there, a coworker. So it was cool. It was fun. And then for editings, I would mostly edit it, but then we have editors in house, so I could like, hey, yo, I need help doing this. I need help with backgrounds. Could you help me? And they'd they'd help, you know. Like I'd be directing basically, so that was fun. I said was that was fun because again I was laid off.
Oh man. Okay, I think what we all need to do, I think all of us need to obviously not downplay all the suffering that's going on, which is serious for everyone who has the virus right now. But I think at the same time, we all need to make something about how we all lost our jobs to the coronavirus. And I think you're the right kind of guy to make something that's borderline offensive, borderline totally wet your pants hilarious, and make that happen.
Yeah, because it's true, man. Like you said, so sad. Rest in peace, all those people that have been affected by it. But rest in peace, our jobs too.
Yeah. You also just gotta laugh about it.
Yeah, 'cause, yeah, I do all my crying at night.
After this episode. Just real quick, I gotta say, your work is fantastic. I mean, you came into animation just under the passion of, hey, I can make these things myself. I think that's really proven in your work. You did that with La Piñata. You did that with films you made at school. You did that at your job, and that's kind of what got you the job is, hey, this guy is a creative who can literally come up with the idea himself, and it's hilarious. He can storyboard it. He can create the characters. He can animate them. He can do voice acting or has other people and brings them in. I think that's super cool. And then directing it and giving people that like artistic direction. I mean, it's just cool for me to see all these different skills that you've built in. And so one thing that I wanted to ask, because you did have so much creative freedom, is were there things that one, you either got held up by because, yeah, either they're too offensive or just like, artistically not the same direction. And this could be for any of your jobs. Or was there something that you actually learned from people who were above you giving that direction?
Yeah, in that work environment, like you learn a lot about business, and whether it had to do with animation or not, it kind of like puts you in a different mindset, and all these different minds working together. Like there's people there that have degrees in things that they're not even working for. So like there's different perspectives that it really helps you. It's so weird. Like we're just working with the team and working with others. I hate people, but it really helps. I think the hardest part was coming up with the ideas, because creating idea after idea, you're like, I don't know, what's next. I need a smoke or something before I come up with an idea.
Yeah.
But like my coworkers, they're also funny, and they would throw in ideas too, like, hey, how about you do this? And I'm like, hell yeah, that's hilarious. Let's do it. And they'd make offensive jokes too, where I even had to be like, okay, settle down, man. We are a professional company.
No, and I think that's what's cool too about seeing you as the director is that not only do you have these good ideas and you totally could do them yourself, but what you'll also do is bring people in to even make those ideas better. Like in animation, for people listening who aren't in animation, we call it plussing. It's basically like, I'm going to take this idea, I'm going to make it even better than what it was before. And I think that's really cool. I think that's what makes a good director.
Hey, thanks. Yeah. Um, I think a lot of us are creative and we all need that chance to do something, like I don't have all the answers. And I think the clip you made in La Piñata, that got a lot of attention, with the phone falling in the pot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I forgot I added that.
you did. And like the directors at Sony, they're like, wow, that's funny. Who did that? And I was like, that was all me, baby. No.
Perfect. No, take all the credit you can and run with it.
Nah,
Because we'll both get fired at the same time.
Anyway, so.
look at us now. It didn't even matter. No, yeah, I said like no, that was Ben. He's hilarious. I didn't tell him to do that. He just came up with it on his own. And they're like, "Wow, that's funny." And I'm like, "Yeah." Way to take away the
You're
attention.
like, what about these 100 other jokes in my short that I made? Yeah.
Yeah, like what about the other stuff? Yeah, that's okay too, I guess.
No, no. I mean, nothing beats the chancla throwing or Nicandro coming out completely buff, like breaking down a wall, which was just hilarious. And kids being on fire is always funny too.
No, that was my favorite note in that whole thing because we couldn't put it in. They're like, David, you cannot set children on fire. I still have it saved.
Oh yeah, I think I still have that one too. I think you sent us multiple versions. I think I kept that one because basically what David's talking about, there were alternate endings to the film that got him the job that he was just talking about that we both worked on together. Um, which climaxes with a party that goes completely awry with children being lit on fire. So if that tells you how hilarious David is, you gotta check out his work, guys. I'm
serious.
Thanks. Get a little drunk. It might help laugh. Never do
It
things
might also
sober.
help you with ideas too. I mean, I don't know.
It will. Trust me. I mean, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's funny. No, but seriously, everyone should check out David's work online because he has done a lot of great stuff. So, one thing that I want to get to real quick is because you've tackled so many areas of art. I mean, even on your Instagram, you've got like illustration, graphic design, character design, on top of animation and links to the things that you've directed and things like that. So what kind of advice would you give to people who are looking to make their own art in any of these areas?
I think that thing we've been saying, like you just have to dive in. You just create on your own. Like you have to have fun with it. Just write something that's fun, and it might be stupid, and I'm sure it is stupid because other people have terrible ideas. But don't give up. Because one of those ideas is going to be really great. And you just don't know it until you start doing things. And it could be so simple. Literally, what was South Park? Cardboard moving around. Do stick figures moving around and talking. Just do something. Do something you love. Do drugs.
No, but that really is great advice because like you're saying, that's all it took. I mean, now obviously that was a lot of hard work that you put in, but like you said, just watching Avengers and be like, no, I could see myself doing this, and then just hopping in and doing it. Like, I think that's the perfect advice.
Yeah, right. Except I said Avengers made me quit live action.
It made you quit something that's good, but not quite as good as animation. Boom.
There you go.
There you go. I love it. Yes.
No, but that's awesome. So, what I want to get into in the last section here is the future of you and your art. So, because you have skills in all these different areas, what I want to ask is, what do you want to do with your career? Where do you want to take your work into the future?
Same as you, man. Same as you. That showrunner, type career, you know? And I see myself doing it. Do you see yourself doing it?
Oh, I see myself doing
You
it.
see.
Totally like not see myself doing it. I'm just kidding.
Oh, we love that confidence. No, I see you doing it. I see you see yourself doing it. And I think that's important because I want to do it too. And you have to surround yourself with people that have that same confidence, you know? And Ben, you're my competition.
That's why I actually had to switch out of hand-drawn animation and into stop motion so that I have to stop competing with David because his stuff was always so good and he got creative freedom to do whatever the heck he wanted to do.
Exactly. Could you blame the guy? I had him beat. I'm kidding.
So creating your own show and directing it is what you want to do.
Yeah, and I see myself doing it, like I said. And I think you have to tell yourself that because once you put it in your mind, you're like, oh, it's going to happen then because you don't see it any other way. Cut to 15 years from now, I'm in the fucking alleyway, beer in one hand, rats chewing on my shoes.
And there's your show idea.
Yeah.
It's actually not you 15 years from now. It's just you at the end of this year.
You're offensive too. You contain it.
Well, that's why I'm not the comedy genius over here. That's why we got you. So, for everyone who really wants to see this hilarious and kind of offensive stuff, if you can stomach it, where can people go to check out your work online, David?
You know what? My Instagram is moneyless, MUNILESS, moneyless because I'm poor. And get insurance today. You should check out those videos, comment on them, like them, because they are my work, you know, and I am proud of them. And they're pretty funny, so check them out.
Yeah, no, they're hilarious. And to take a serious note here, while everyone is stuck inside because of the coronavirus, and please stay inside, please stay healthy, everyone. But this doesn't have to be a time of complete sorrow. We got David's animation out there to remind us, like, hey, you can laugh even while things are hard. So everyone, do check out David's work. It's hilarious.
Thanks, Ben. You're great. You're amazing. You're nice. That sounded sarcastic. It wasn't, I promise.
Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this episode with David. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy during this coronavirus time. But I think all of us are feeling the anxiety. So if you need a little laugh, do check out David's work at Moneyless with a U on Instagram and get insurance today on YouTube. Check it out. You're in for a treat. I'm looking at David's Instagram right now, and his animation, Kevin, is just hilarious. So in whatever area of art you enjoy, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep on creating. Oh, and David has his own little outro for you.
Bye.